Hi, Dad.
Hi.
Hi, people.
Can you hold that? Okay. Who wants a werewolf for a boyfriend? Yell out a woohoo!
Woohoo!
Okay. Well, I mean, why not? They're cute, they're strong, they're powerful, they got a great body, and they're an absolute animal when there's a full moon. Okay, what I want to talk to you about today is a condition called hypertrichosis. It's a condition commonly referred to as werewolf syndrome. Now, according to WebMD, hypertrichosis, if you break it down, hyper means extra or above. Trick means hair. Osis means a condition. So it's a condition of too much hair or extra hair. What I want you to walk away from today is that werewolves are people too. So what is hypertrichosis? Hypertrichosis, according to American Journal of Genetics, it's a congenital condition, which means you cannot get it later on. You're born with it. However, there is a condition. It's called acquired hypertrichosis. And what that's from if you use a certain medication, long-term exposure to that medication, one of the side effects is additional hair or darkening of the hair. And sometimes, if you have an imbalance in your hormones, that can also cause you to have additional hair. Humans have 46 chromosomes, and it's found that hypertrichosis, the culprit is in the 17th chromosome, and what happens is there's a double imaging of that chromosome. So there's a section of it that displays twice in that chromosome, which means you get double of that characteristics, which is double the hair, double the density. So it's in the 17th chromosome. Hypertrichosis is also an X-linked trait, which means it's when a woman has it, she has a 50-50 chance of passing it down to her children. Whether it's a boy or a girl that she has a 50-50 chance of passing it on to her children. However, if a man has hypertrichosis, he has a 100% chance of giving it to his female offspring, but none of his sons will acquire it. What are some of the visible characteristics of hypertrichosis? Well, if you look at the picture right here, some of the characteristics are thick, dark hair on the body or face, broad, flat noses, a larger mouth, and oftentimes thick lips, and occasionally there's enlarged head and jaw bones. However, according to geneticist Dr. Luis Figueira of the Mexican Center for Biomedical Research, hypertrichosis has no connection with the moon at all. So that is just a myth as far as the werewolf syndrome goes. What is the progression of the condition? According to the American Journal of Genetics, in the June issue of 2009, babies are born with hair that's called langual hair. So if you assimilate that to baby chicks, when they're first born, they're born with a little bit softer hair, and then a little bit softer feathers, and then the full feathers grow in. The same thing happens with this condition. When they're born with a little bit softer hair. But by the age of 2, the hair thickens and darkens and is more dense, but the rate of growth decreases. So as the person gets older, the thickness as well as the distribution of the hair among the body increases. Today, according to Pragna Patel, a professor of genetic medicine at the University of South California, just over 50 people have the condition. Most of those people are coming from 2 different families. One family is in Mexico, whereas the other family is in China. Historically, the first known documentation of hypertrichosis was in 1648. It was a gentleman named Petrus Gonzalez, and he was originally from the Canary Islands. He was originally brought over to France for the curiosity of nobles, and what that means is that they would just view him for their entertainment. He had 2 sons, a daughter, and a grandchild that also had the condition that was brought with him. They were referred to as the family of Ambrose because their family portrait was discovered in the castle of Ambrose, so they're commonly referred to as the family of Ambrose. The family of Petrus Gonzalez became the employees of Ava the court, so they ended up becoming an employee of the royals. a royal family there. However, later on they became sideshow attractions beginning in the 1880s, which leads me to the benefits of hypertrichosis. One is you don't have to worry about pimples when you become a teenager because you can't see it. Two, everyone wants to have a werewolf for a boyfriend. Like that. Because they're cute and strong and sexy. Third benefit is stardom. Ripley's, believe it or not, has hosted some of the family on their show. Also, there have been, the family's also listed in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the most hair on their body. JoJo was also the star of the show with Barnum and Bailey before it became Barnum and Bailey, when it was just Barnum in the 1880s. JoJo was the star of the show there. Danny Gonzalez is currently the trapeze artist, and he is in his mid-20s. He began as a magician in the circus industry, but now has moved to trapeze artist. And the last benefit of hypertrichosis is even Michael Jackson wanted to be a werewolf. In Thriller, his metamorphosis happened. So we've talked about the history of hypertrichosis, we've talked about characteristics of hypertrichosis, we've talked about where it comes from genetically, and we've also talked about how Michael Jackson wanted to be a werewolf. So thank you, and thank you for listening to my speech.
Yeah!